Welcome to True Talk with Bree. And on tonight, my story is on You Are Not Alone. I was sexually abused too. Now, when I wrote a book, I wrote a book for women. And in this book, I shared my story of me being sexually abused. But on tonight, this story is for men and women. Because not only does women get sexually abused when they're a child, men get sexually abused as they're a child as well. So I wanted to do a message for both, to encourage both. And it's very important about, getting your healing. And first thing I want to say is it was not your fault. The sexual abuse that you experienced was not your fault. No one should have never touched you. No one should have never sexually violated you. And I know for men that is a topic that, women barely want to talk about it. So I know for a man, they don't want to talk about them being sexually violated. But I'm going to say to you, men, it's very important that you get help so far as seeing a therapist if you haven't seen one. Because a lot of times, it's the same things that women go through so far as in us being promiscuous, y'all be promiscuous as well. Y'all sleep with multiple women just to try to prove your manhood to yourself. Or you take drugs to, try to, numb the pain of thinking about what happened to you. So I'm just going to encourage you to go see a therapist if you have not seen one. You don't have to remain broken. Not only are women broken, but men are broken too. After being sexually abused. But that doesn't have to be your portion. That doesn't have to be something that you accept for the rest of your life. And so far as the collateral, okay, so let me just explain my story. At the age of 4, I was raped by a family member. No one ever got charged. The 2 males who I was living in the house with at the time with my great aunt, they are now deceased. I was admitted in the hospital. The act of rape was suppressed. That means my memory was suppressed from the act of rape. But I do remember being admitted in the hospital. I was told that I had to be sewed up because what happened to me was just that horrific. Years later, I moved. Okay, so at that time, I was living with my great aunt. Years later, I moved with my mother. My mother got incarcerated. Then my stepfather sexually abused me. He forced himself upon me and performed oral sex. When my mother got out of jail, I told her what happened. I actually wrote the story down on a piece of paper and gave it to her. She did not believe me. That caused me to rebel. I had no respect for her. I went down a dark path. I started living a very promiscuous lifestyle. Like I did not respect myself. And I also got introduced to selling dope, selling crack, at a very young age. So those are the paths that I took after being sexually abused. And that is the collateral damage. Some of us, we go down the path of being a slut or a lesbian. Some promiscuous. Some use drugs to cover up their pain. Some use alcohol to cover up their pain. But what I'm saying to you, whoever listens to this video, if you are still indulging in, doing drugs, drinking alcohol excessively, living a promiscuous lifestyle, or living a stud or lesbian lifestyle, you can be delivered from that lifestyle. You can be set free from doing drugs or alcohol. You can be delivered from that. God does not want us to live a lifestyle of sin, and I mean living in sin so far as being promiscuous, fornicating, or living in adultery, sleeping with multiple men while we're married, or, multiple women while, so far as a man is concerned, sleeping with multiple women while you're married because you've been sexually abused. God wants you to get the help that you need. That is who helped me through my journey. That's why I'm able to talk about it, be bold about it, and want to encourage you to get the help that you need. What was designed to break you doesn't have to destroy you, but that choice is going to be up to you. Forgive yourself because it wasn't your fault. And here's another thing. To help you be free, forgive the person. I'm going to encourage you to forgive the person who sexually abused you so you can be free. That you forgiving them is not for them, but it's for you. I had to do it. I had to forgive my stepfather as well as the other family member who raped me at the age of 4. I couldn't be as free as I am today had I not forgiven both of them. So that's like I said, no, it wasn't your fault. You don't have to carry that pain around for the rest of your life. God wants you to be whole. I'm just looking through my book. Like I said, I did write a book. This is my book, and like I said, this was directed toward women. I wrote it for women, but the Lord wanted me to do a video to help men as well because they have been sexually abused too. And there's so many that has been sexually abused, but they carry that pain, they carry those scars, and they don't never talk about it. And most of the time when we talk about sexual abuse, we don't never include them. Because sometimes women think, the reason why I wrote the book for women, because I can relate to women. But like I said, just being sexually abused in general, I know the collateral damage that it does. And that's for anybody. Some men live a life of crime because of being sexually abused. And then some men are sexually abused or raped when they get in jail. So this is one of my affirmations, and this can help anybody. What has happened to me in my past will not dictate my future. You have the right to become whole. See, when you are whole, you don't find yourself in toxic relationships. A lot of times we get in toxic relationships because we are damaged and we are broken. So we get ourselves into these toxic relationships. But once you become whole, your desires change. I am worthy of self-love. And when I'm saying that, I know when I say I'm worthy of self-love, that doesn't mean that you don't want nobody else to love you, but, also love yourself. But when I say I'm worthy of self-love, that does not mean I don't want, a male not to love me. I'm just saying I am worthy of self-love. I know some women got this thing going on that they don't need a man. The Bible tells you 2 is better than 1. So far as man and woman. 2 is better than 1. So that's all I want to leave you with tonight. Just know that it was not your fault. Get the healing that you need so far as going to see a therapist, talking to someone you trust. If you got the journal out, what happened to you, might write a journal. Whatever it's going to take to help you heal, I encourage you to do that. And thank y'all for listening to True Talk with Bree.